Let's talk about the basic tools required for jewelry making. I've been making jewelry and selling them in my Etsy shop successfully with just using these 4 tools, and occasionally I use this tool. So I would highly recommend just getting these 4 tools and you should be set. So the first tool is this one called as the round nose plier. As you can see, it is tapered, so you can make small loops using wires on this end and bigger loops as you go higher and higher up. So the next tool is this. This is called as a flush cutter. So the thinner it is over here at the tapered end, the easier you would find to cut any of the wires, and this is definitely a must. Next is called a chain nose plier. Sometimes when you buy not so expensive tools, the basic tools, you get chain nose pliers that have rough edges over here. I would definitely not recommend those. You need a chain nose plier which is smooth from the inside. This is used for holding a jump ring, for example, and opening them up. The other tool that usually does not come in your basic set for jewelry making is this one called as a angled or a bent chain nose plier. Now, even though it usually does not come with your basic tools, I would highly recommend getting one of these tools because they are so useful in opening jump rings. For example, I can keep it on this side. I get a free movement and it makes it easier for me to use a chain nose plier and open this up like this or close it up like that, and it's really useful. So invest in a pair of a bent chain nose plier. The next tools are optional, but this is a plier with a nylon or a plastic on it, and this is used to straighten wires. So if I'm working with any kind of a wire and I get a little bit of a kink on it, or it gets bent and I need it to be smooth, so let's just say it's bent over here, I will use this plier and smoothen this wire out. So it's good to have, but I wouldn't say it's a must to have. You can do without it, but it's good to have. This next tool over here is a wire bender, and this is usually a little bit more advanced tool that can be used for making your own ear wires, or you can make clasps for your necklace. I barely use this tool. The only time I've actually ever used this tool is to make these earrings out of headpins, which is what I am going to demonstrate next. So it is definitely not a required tool, but again, good to have, easy to use. The next tool that I have is a crimping plier. So usually this is used when you string a necklace or a bead on a string wire, and then you need to finish off that bracelet or necklace. So you use a little crimp, which I will show in the next tutorial, and you can crimp using this instrument. I barely use it. I usually just use my chain nose plier to just crimp the bead itself. So it's good to have, but not a must. So the only must I would say are these 4 tools, and definitely if you can, buy this angle chain nose plier. Otherwise you would have to use these 2 tools to do most of your work, and a round nose plier can leave a mark on your wire, so I would not recommend it. Next, let's look at the basic findings, and findings are these materials over here that are needed for making your jewelry. For example, as I was showing, this is a bead and this is a head pin that I have used to make an earring. So this is a head pin that comes in various colors. I have silver plated, gold filled, or real gold also. So you get it in different sizes, the different length size, and they also come in different gauge, which means the thickness of these. You get this ball shaped head pins too, so you get different ends to your head pins. I've seen heart shaped ones too, and these are called the eye pins. I barely use any eye pins because this eye over here, this little loop, can be made using this instrument, this plier, the round nose plier. So you never need to buy an eye pin unless you are a beginner and you like, you know, the more professional look of this. This can be easily created using a round nose plier. For example, I can just take this, circle it off, bend it like this, and here you go. I have my own eye pin over here, so that's the reason I never buy the eye pin. So those were all the head pins that are used for jewelry making. Then you get all these ear wires. Usually I buy them off. You can make these too, and the tool that I was talking about, this wire bending tool, can be used to make your own ear wires. So this loopy portion over here can be made using this tool, but I usually buy my ear wire. It's easier that way. Again, you get them in different coats. You get them in gold plated, silver plated, real silver, gold filled, or real gold. Then if you're making a necklace or a bracelet, you need these. This is called a clasp. The next thing that is important to note is that these head pins, they come in different gauge. So the larger the gauge, the thinner it is. So this is about a 30 gauge wire head pin. And usually when you're working with fine gemstones, like I have a really small, about 2 mm or 3 mm sized amethyst, you would notice that this head pin is not going to enter into the fine hole that is present in these semi-precious or precious gemstones. So what you need is really thin gauge. The one I'm using over here is a 26 gauged wire head pin, which is used with, this is gold filled, or you can even have sterling silver ones. These are the ones, 26 or 28 gauge one. I think 28 gauge might be a little too flimsy. So a 26 gauge is perfect for using with a gemstone that is of small size.